Most men over 60 believe they have a reasonably accurate picture of how they look. They dress in front of a mirror every morning. They make adjustments. They check the collar, check the overall combination, decide that it is acceptable or better than acceptable, and step out of the house with a working confidence in their appearance. This confidence is not arrogance. It is simply the reasonable assumption that a man who has been dressing himself for 6 decades and who looks in a mirror every morning has an accurate understanding of how his appearance registers to other people. That assumption is wrong. Not completely wrong, but wrong enough that the gap between how a man over 60 believes he looks and how he actually appears in the eyes of other people is consistently larger than he realizes. And the specific reason for this gap is one that most men have never had explained to them directly. The morning mirror is systematically misleading. Not because mirrors lie in any dramatic sense, but because the specific conditions under which most men use a mirror produce a version of their appearance that is more flattering, more forgiving, and less representative of the real-world impression they make than almost any other way of observing their own appearance. This video is about that gap. What creates it, how large it actually is for most men over 60, and exactly what to do to close it. Not to create anxiety about appearance, not to suggest that a man needs to monitor himself constantly, but to give a specific practical testing system that reveals the real impression, the one other people are actually receiving, and that allows a man to address the specific ways in which that impression is weaker than the morning mirror has been suggesting. This channel is about classic menswear, timeless style, and the complete picture of how men over 60 can look and carry themselves at their best. The mirror test is the most honest part of that complete picture, and today we are running it in full. The first way the morning mirror misleads is through fixed lighting. Most home mirrors are lit from above or from the front. Bathroom vanity lights, ceiling lights or window light that falls consistently in the same direction every morning. This fixed lighting has 2 specific effects that make the mirror image more flattering than the real world. It minimises shadows, the shadows that in natural outdoor light or in the angled light of a restaurant or office reveal the true depth of fabric folds, collar lifts and trouser stacks. And it eliminates the variation, because natural light changes direction throughout the day, hitting the outfit from different angles and revealing different details depending on the time and setting. The collar that looks flat under bathroom vanity light from above may have 1 point lifting when seen in afternoon sunlight from the side. The trouser that looks clean in the morning bedroom mirror may be stacking 0.5 centimeter at the shoe when viewed in direct outdoor light. The fixed lighting fix is simple. Before leaving for any occasion where the impression matters, step outside or to a window with strong natural directional light and look at the outfit in that light for 30 seconds. The collar, the trouser, the shoe surface, the pocket, all of these will read differently in natural light than they did in the bathroom. This is not an additional burden in the morning routine. It is a 30-second addition that reveals what the fixed mirror does not. The second way the morning mirror misleads is through the standing still problem. A man checking his appearance in a mirror is standing still, facing forward, in the specific posture of someone who is checking their appearance, which is to say, slightly more upright, slightly more attentive, and slightly more composed than the posture he will adopt for the rest of the day. The blazer sits better when the posture is actively held. The shirt falls cleaner when the chest is forward. The collar reads as flatter when the head is up. And none of this is how the man looks when he is sitting in a restaurant for 2 hours, when he is walking to a meeting, or when he is photographed candidly at a social event. The movement gap is particularly significant at the jacket level. A well-fitted jacket in a static standing position may appear to sit correctly at the shoulder and follow the torso cleanly. The same jacket in motion as the arms move, as the man sits and the fabric redistributes as he turns to address someone, will reveal fit issues that the static mirror position conceals. The back of the jacket, which bunches slightly when sitting, is invisible in a front-facing static mirror. The sleeve that rides up when the arm is extended is invisible in the arms at side static position. The collar that lifts slightly when the chin drops, as it does in conversation, when looking at a phone, when reading a menu, is invisible when the head is held at the upright mirror-checking angle. The standing still fix has two parts. The first is deliberate movement. Before leaving, walk across the room and back, sit down and stand up, turn and look at the side profile. The collar, the jacket back, the trouser break from the side, all will be revealed by movement in ways that the static standing position conceals. The second part is the photograph. Take a single photograph from the normal standing distance that someone would photograph you from at a social event. Not a mirror selfie, a photograph. Look at it with the specific eye of a first-time observer rather than a familiar one. This photograph is closer to the impression you make on other people than any mirror will ever be. If you are finding this useful, the kind of specific, honest analysis of how the impression gap actually works, go ahead and subscribe. This channel is built around exactly this level of practical honesty, and there is a great deal more coming on every element of how men over 60 can close the gap between how they think they look and how they actually appear. The third way the morning mirror misleads is through the front-only problem. Almost all home mirrors show the man from the front. Some show a partial side view if the man turns. Almost none show the back. And the back of the appearance, the jacket back panel, the rear trouser drape, the collar from behind, is the view that other people have of a man for a significant proportion of every social encounter. When a man walks into a room, other people see his back. When he moves through a crowd, other people see his back. When he is photographed candidly at any event, a substantial proportion of those photographs are taken from the side or from behind. The back view check requires one of three things: a second mirror, angled to show the rear view, a photograph taken from behind, or, most practically, asking someone to take a quick photograph from behind before leaving for an important occasion. What most men discover when they first check the back view honestly is that it is consistently less considered than the front view. The jacket back may be bunching slightly at the collar, where a slight posture drift has created tension. The trouser may be pulling at the seat, the collar may be lifting at the back in a way that is invisible from the front. These are all details that have been registering on every person who has seen the man from behind at every occasion, and that the morning mirror has never revealed. The fourth way the morning mirror misleads is through the familiarity problem. This is the most fundamental of all. A man who looks in the same mirror every morning stops seeing himself with the clarity of a first-time observer. He sees a familiar version of his own appearance, one that his brain has learned to process quickly and evaluate against a baseline rather than against an absolute standard. The collar that has been lifting slightly for 3 weeks is not noticed because the brain has adjusted its baseline to include it. The blazer that has been sitting slightly off the shoulder seam for a year is not noticed because the brain long ago categorized it as how this blazer looks, rather than this blazer does not fit correctly. The familiarity problem compounds over time in a specific way. Each small change in appearance, the gradual collar drift, the trouser that has stretched slightly and is now stacking a few millimeters more than it did when hemmed, is invisible in the moment it occurs because the baseline has already absorbed the previous version. The man never experiences a sudden change because there is no sudden change. There is only the accumulated drift of dozens of tiny changes, each invisible in isolation, all of them together producing an appearance that is meaningfully different from the one he believes he has and the one he believes other people are seeing. The familiarity fix is the most important of the four, and it is the one that the photograph addresses most powerfully. A photograph, looked at with fresh eyes after a gap of even a few hours, is seen without familiarity. The collar lift that the brain has been filtering out in the mirror is visible in the photograph. The shoulder seam that has drifted is visible in the photograph. The trouser stack that has become background noise is visible in the photograph. Looking at a recent photograph of oneself with the specific intention of seeing what a first-time observer would see, without the filter of familiarity, is the single most honest assessment of appearance available to any man over 60. Not once, periodically, as an ongoing calibration practice rather than a one-time exercise. Now I want to hear from you. When did you last look at a recent photograph of yourself with honest eyes, not to remember an occasion, but specifically to assess how your appearance registered from the outside? Tell me in the comments. I read every one. Here is the complete mirror test. Step 1. Check the outfit in natural directional light, not just bathroom or bedroom light. Step 2. Move, walk, sit, turn, and check the outfit after movement, rather than only in the static standing position. Step 3. Check the back view with a photograph or a second mirror before important occasions. Step 4. Take a photograph and look at it with the eyes of a first-time observer, specifically to identify what the familiarity of the daily mirror has been filtering out. 4 steps. The first 3 take under 2 minutes each. The fourth, the photograph, takes 30 seconds to take and 30 seconds to examine honestly. Applied before important occasions and periodically as a general wardrobe and grooming audit, this 4-step mirror test produces something the morning mirror alone never can: an accurate picture of the impression a man is actually making, rather than the more flattering picture the mirror has been providing. So here is the challenge. This week, take one photograph of yourself in your most commonly worn outfit from the front, and then ask someone to take one from the side and one from behind. Look at all 3 with the eyes of someone seeing you for the first time, not to be harsh, not to create anxiety, simply to see the gap, whatever it is, clearly, because once the gap is visible, it can be closed. And closing it does not require a new wardrobe, a new approach to style, or any of the specific changes we have discussed in other videos. It simply requires the honest seeing that the morning mirror has been making unnecessarily difficult. If you found this useful, subscribe and share it. This is exactly the kind of foundational self-assessment that most men never apply deliberately. In the next video, we are going into the autumn wardrobe upgrade, the 5 specific pieces that every man over 60 should add to his wardrobe as the season changes, and exactly how each one integrates with the system we have been building. You will not want to miss that one.